I'm probably way off beat. I mean, way off beat. Wait, I went back to the windfish. Do 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 do. Boop, 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 boop. Anyway, let's boot up some actual music. This stream would go haywire immediately if the music was just me singing the whole time. It would be funny, but it would be awkward. At least it would be awkward for me. I'd be like, I can't. I can't do this with y'all. I'm sorry. Alright. How you guys doing? It is Wednesday. Welcome in. Also, I'm speaking a little gentler than I normally do, and that's because Leon is still in bed. He woke up very early, stayed up for a few hours, and then went back to sleep. Oh, I wonder why my music was loud for me. My headset was turned up. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Ah! I can't do it. Also, unlucky! Congrats on first! You said fuck everyone, I am first in line. I'm so proud of you. I think this is your first. It's the first time you've come into the cafe first. I'm so proud of you. Let me adjust my feet, hold on. Yeah, it is Dude's Day, my wins. There we go, my feet are now fixed. For once I'm here early. No, I was late, actually, but you are also probably here early. I was a few minutes late, because I didn't realize it was already like 10:03, because I was vibing to a video I was watching. Y'all may be surprised to know this, but I am the most boring YouTube watchers ever. Now, that's not to say I won't watch, like, Markiplier, Game Grumps, Jack, Septiceye, Manly. You know, I've got my 5 pinnacle gamer, you know, YouTubers that I like to watch. Not sponsored. They're just really cool guys. And then everything else is just boring to other people. I can concede that. I find it fascinating. I like listening to people talking about like the evolutionary tree, the difference between like Australopithecus and like Neanderthal versus you know, the hominin line and all that. I like evolution and biology. I watch those kinds of videos. Food agenda for today was impromptu pizza. Yesterday I had tortillas and had them leftover minced meat, salsa, cheese, and tortillas, so I put them together and made a pizza. Nice! You said, you know what? Pizza. I'm feeling it.
Wait a minute.
Dread, you were not new.
Are you?
That's a fucking lie, Dread.
I will save when I boot something up. Also, thank you for the pet and the sippy. I am thirsty. Oh, shit. Right. I gotta take my pills. I looked behind me to see Leon and his little leggy was up. He's so cute. But yeah, anyone got pills? You better take them. I'm serious. You're gonna catch it. I'm gonna come to your house and make you take your pills. Had pizza, burritos, and pizza again. Yeep diet. Nah, that's okay. Give the man's a hug for me. He's sleepy right now, but I can hug him when he's more awake. I'm struggling with these pills. I did it. Alright. Yeah, pill check for anyone who's here and needs to take them. Why? Why what? Why not? Why hug? Why let him sleep? What's the why for? Is it because they're childproof? Oh, why I'm struggling to open? No. Okay. Give me a sec. No pills, I don't want heart pain. Fair. No. They come in these little square packets. And they've got like the metal sheet at the back that you pop them out of, but they're very small. So when I push on the piece, it does not want to come out, and it upsets me greatly. I know. You can see my hand resting on my face. Like I've had the same. It's the anti-baby pillen stupid, like, child-proof, I guess, pills. I don't know. It's baby Batman proof. How about that? It's baby Batman proof. Alright. But yeah, today is Wednesday, which means I'm going to be doing some world buildings, and I'm going to take that literally. I'm going to build worlds. So, on today's agenda, I'm going to be designing a few planets, making a few designs for them, and I'm probably going to base it off of a few real-life planets that exist. I chose the near-nuclear version of Antibabybidin. I don't know if I have the near-nuclear version or not. I just know I take 2 a day. I have anxiety meds where I also use as heart meds, but me get anxiety from them and worsen my— oh, I am so sorry. Arrhythmia? Arrhythmia, that's how you pronounce that. I hate when pills have side effects. This shit suck. Ugh, there we go. Okay, let's wipe down my tablet and let's get started. Let's hop on over here. Every pill side effect includes might die. Yeah, every pill side effect has to be, oh, you're going to get all of these horrible, debilitating side effects, including death. And the reason they include that is because if someone, on the very off chance someone does get those side effects, they're like, oh, well, we warned you. And you can't sue us for it. It's you can't sue us for the pills. You ever think of a really good comeback, but days later? Yes. I also think about stuff that I could have said a lot better days afterwards, and I'm like, man, I could have said that. That was so nice. But c'est la vie. Alrighty, so this is going to be my template. Here the side effects are listed on how often they happen, so 1 per 100, 1 per 1,000. Oh. Yeah, we don't... at least I don't think we have those. Alright, let me grab the references that I have for the different planets that I want to make. Alright, I was also doing cyborg shit. I want to buy an ocarina. I have an ocarina! It's really cute. It was actually gifted to me by Ryza. Fucking hate that, because Bobby will say something and I won't have anything terribly clever as a comeback. Then days later I'm just... fair. It happens. I used to have a lute and a harp. Cute. Can I stop yawning? I slept all night. I quite literally slept all night. In fact, I went to bed early. Maybe that's why I'm yawning. Maybe my body's like, hey dog, you slept too much. Alright, where are my planets? I have them saved. Like, I have a bunch of real life planets saved. And I'm very excited to draw my own. This music is a pop. I also want to start going over the anatomy of robots, or androids. We're calling them androids here. It's the summer. It is the summer. You will be tired. Maybe. I do get heat exhaustion, but right now it's actually pretty nice because our air conditioner slaps. You mean cyborgs? No, I meant androids because I'm dumb. Cyborgs are humans or people with cybernetic enhancements. I'm going to make a fully automaton, like, android creature, android person. Okay, so robots, what that looks like humans. Yes. Robots that look like humans. I'm gonna have to like figure out my terminology here, or at least come up with a better concrete set of terminologies, because I do have like different words for different things. It pretty much lines up with how most sci-fi handles stuff, but I wanna make sure I get it correct. Alrighty. Alright, I found my planets. I also have a few planets from Star Wars saved.
Blah. Cecil, what do you want? Oh, goodbye.
Okay, so the first things first, I'm going to work on Earth. Ooh, I didn't realize that was a GIF. That's pretty. Okay, so let me pull up a picture of Earth, because I want to be drawing that. There we go. Because Earth is where the Syrian Atlas company comes from, or Atlas, as we like to call them. Oh my god, I'm cold. Let me get my blanket a little better. Okay, I should be better now. It's cold as fuck. Clockwork android puppets are cool. Yeah! Thank you for the vet. Yeah, I need to come up with a, better terminologies. I want to find a better picture of Earth. This one kind of sucks. Can I spell Earth correctly? Thanks. Ooh, I'm dropping my mouse. I just realized I could very easily just do this. Pew. And it works. It's fine. Hold on. It's not fine. It's not quite fine yet. Because this is a real life stock photo of Earth.
What the heck? I'm on the floor.
Hi, Lindo. Then I could just do this. Bam! Earth. Or Orth. Earth. Earth, bitch. Orth. I walk in, Desmond is dead. Lindo. Lindo didn't. Lindo killed me. I should probably do this. Look at that. It's Orth. Why are you still alive? Huh? Oh shit. Now I gotta go fucking run. Fucking run! Lindo's too powerful! You figured it out! Alright, now let's go grab the moon. Ooh, I forgot the moon was very pretty and colorful. So you take the moon, and you take the- yeah, I took the moon. Now the question is, do I want to draw this? You take the moon, and you take the moon, and you... I do want to shrink it just a little more. Cecil, Cecil, my lad. You let him sleep. We're going to steal. I've got to piss on the moon! Yeah, the question is, do I... You know what? I'll leave it like that. That looks fine. Now let's put the moon down. Oh my god, this is a huge moon. Fucking big-ass moon. Also, our moon is about 1/4 of our planet, so let's shrink that down. I will come in here. Oh, no, that is not what I want to do. How do you like that? How do you like that, Obama? I pissed on the moon, you idiot! Fucking video is great. So what I'm gonna do is clean these up and blur these out just a bit so that they look a little more stylized. Because I will be drawing my own. And I don't want mine to stick out like a sore fucking thumb. But I also don't want to just draw our planets when I have, like, perfectly serviceable, stock photos that I can just take. Okay, that looks pretty nice. Let me smooth out some of these. Because these clouds formations are a bit much for me. I do like them. They're a bit much. So I'm just spattering them away. At least the little crazy looking ones. And for a final touch, after cleaning that up, I'm going to take this. This is the halo that I've given the planet. It's to kind of look like a glow of the atmosphere. I'm going to make this blue, a pretty blue color. That's no moon, it's your mama. Wow. Yeah, and? There we go, a pretty blue. You pissed on my wife. He pissed on my wife! I'm going to make an announcement. I'm going to make an announcement! Shadow the Hedgehog is a bitch-ass motherfucker! That whole fucking thing was funny. Go! Why aren't you working? You know what? I have an idea. Heh. Idiot. I win. Actually, I have a better idea. Hold on. Ow. Because I want to keep those little white lines. It's to help them stick out from the... Okay, so it's white and 3, so... White and 3... I'm starting to think that these lines weren't erased. That's okay, I'll go in here and clear it up. I lied, this looks dumb. But I do need to use this to actually clean everything. Because I didn't realize that was all there. Oh, you can see it in the planet. It's fine. It's not like people are going to be zooming in super hard on these planets, unless they are, in which case I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight my players. Okay, so let me clean this up. I'd be like, don't stare too hard at my Earth, please. I didn't mean to ruin it. Also, it doesn't have to be a complete circle. The planet is not actually a complete ass circle. It's... I say circle, I meant like globe. It's got like tiny lumps here and there. It just looks round as fuck because of how big it is. But it does have tiny little baby lumps here and there. So accidentally erasing a little piece is fine. At least to me. Also, I dreamed up a new species. And, I kinda wanna draw them. See? Oops. It's fine. Oh! Wait, what? Hello? Hold on. Oh. Get out of here. And I'll let the moon stay lumpy. The moon's already lumpy, so he can stay lumpy. Okay, so we have Earth. That was easy. And that is because Earth... I'm gonna do this halo. Yeah, we got Earth because Earth's pretty easy to draw. Do I want to add text to this? I think I might. Hold on. That is not the correct font for this. Earth. That is not the correct font for the tone that I want this story to have. But it's funny. Alright. Let's go through my stuff. I like Alexandria, that's nice. I'm not using anime. Okay, let's just start scrolling through some of these. This one looks pretty good.
Thank you for the sip, Sugar Skull.
Earth Comic Sans. Yeah, like, I'm not doing that. Ooh, water.
Hi, baby. Well, I see how it is. Fine. We don't have to hang out.
Earth. Earth. I'm not gonna be able to look at this word the same after this. Okay, so Cambria's pretty good. Source Courier. But I want something kind of sci-fi looking. This word does not look real to me anymore. Oh, that's a fucking... Okay, I'm not seeing any that look good. I might go download one that looks cool and sci-fi. When I say download one, I mean a font. I forgot I have Van Helsing. Yeah, saying the word Earth has gone weird. It has. Ah, yes. Wingdings. Okay, I have to look at it in a certain way. I guess I just won't worry about that because it doesn't look good. Captain, I think the Earth has expired. I don't know who's saying it, but it's Worf now. It's Worf in my brain. Also, I have been watching, I think I've told you guys this already, but I have been rewatching Star Wars The Next Generation because I'm looking for, one, inspiration, and two, I just want to go on a nostalgia trip. I haven't actually watched, like, Star Trek stuff since I was, like, a young teen. A baby. When, like, Voyager was new. So, yeah. Also, let me do this. Let's pull up some planet references. Because I know we have fan-made art, as well as concept art of planets that we could... gross. That we could be able to settle on later. Like, for instance, the Trappist system. There is a solar system that we found that all the planets are labeled Trappist. And I don't remember the actual number, but there's a number of a planet, like he's like the third or fourth planet from the sun. It's an exoplanet, and it can harbor life possibly, and it's called the Trappist system, so I might use a couple of those as inspiration as well. Granted, we don't have any planets that look like Earth, not... Let me look up habitable planets. Because I know there's a bunch. And I want to see all the pictures. But all of these pictures were made by people who are working in NASA. Oh, and there's also, that's right, there's also Kepler and Gliese. So there's 2, 3 types of solar systems that were like, yeah, we could possibly live there. Which is fucking cool. That is so cool to me. I just randomly remembered that a Jupiter moon looks like a ball of cheese pizza. Does it? Which one? Jupiter has some weird-ass moons. Phobos is the weirdest, though. That's Mars's moon. Phobos is... a squished-in little bean. Phobos looks like it doesn't exist. Have you listened to the planets at all? Yeah, they make noises if we, like, record it with a certain, machine. Okay, so I have a bunch of planets pulled up, but I will not be basing... Well, I'll be basing them off of these planets, but I don't know if I'm going to have these planets be habited. Maybe some Earth colonies settled there, but I'm going to have to look at their, gravitational, weight. Io is the silly moon. Io's a cutie. Okay. So I have a few planets pulled up that have been created by like they've been drawn by NASA's people. Which means, once again, stock. So if I want to, I can copy it like this, but I do want to draw my own planets. So I have habitable exoplanets pulled up. I don't know why they're all considered exoplanets. Oh, never mind, it's for reference. But we have Earth, and all of Earth's well, most of Earth's what is it? Reference is going to be 1, because that is our default reference. So like Earth's mass is a mass of 1. Its radius is a radius of 1, its flux is a radius of 1, its gravity is a gravitational heaviness of 1. And that is to help us understand the difference on the other planets. So for instance, Earth's mass is 1. Mars's mass is 0.1, which is wild to think about, but also Mars is like half the size of Earth. That's probably why. Its radius is 0.5 compared to Earth's 1. And Earth's density, which is 5.5, is Mars's 3.9, so Mars is small. Dunsman, are you focusing on the number 1 because you rolled a nat 1 last night? No. I did roll a nat 1. For those who weren't there, I rolled a nat 1 in a combat scenario, and I'm like, I'm literally the tank. I have to be first. I have to be first sort of, like, do my certain abilities. Rolls 1. I guess I'm not gonna do that for a while. Poor Lev. He's fine. He was sad. And then by the time it got to my turn, I couldn't even fucking use one of my abilities because it would have killed me, almost. Let's see. Yeah, so Gliese is a good amount, but like... Star type. That's right, we have a G-type star. Which means it is a big yellow star in its prime hanging out. Some of these planets have red stars. And I want to focus on that. Maybe I'll have stars in the background? Maybe I'll do something like that, like... Because Earth's star is big, bright yellow. Bullshit. Like so. So maybe I could have, like, a distant star like that to kind of show what the star is. Watch me roll an out next Tuesday as my Everest. Yeah. Watch. But yeah, what if I... Maybe if I do it this way. You know what? I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm going to assume the star is somewhere over here in the front. So we're not gonna worry too much about that. Okay, so I have a bunch of Kepler planets pulled up. That is not every planet I wanted. I want more than that. Oh, what is this? What is wrong with this website? What? The website I was on broke. That was weird. Alright. It doesn't want me looking at planets. It hates me. Hates me, wants me dead. Oh yeah, they are in their Goldilocks zone. Homophobic website. It was! In this year of our Lord Pride Month? Homophobic? Towards me? A little baby man? Okay, so I don't need these. Don't need these either. I'm just looking at different just planets. Like this, for example. I'm looking at stuff like this. And I'm trying to figure out which one is good. What do you mean the shop's unavailable? Then why can I see it? Whatever, I'm gonna close this. I don't need this. No gay femboys allowed. Damn, I didn't realize they were so clustered. Huh. Look at this. The TRAPPIST system is so close to each other. That's spooky. But their planets are going to be difficult to live on. Unless you have really good way to get away from radiation. Hi Astrid, welcome in. Don't mind me, I'm looking at planets. Because I'm going to be designing planets that my players for my TTRPG can land on. Now, some of them are going to be just natural, others will be terraformed. For instance, Mars. I should probably look at terraformed Mars. And Venus. Gotta go to work early today, have fun building literal worlds. I am going to be building literal worlds. Also, I'm sorry about your work. Alright. Pit. Alright, someone in NASA also apparently made a hypothetical of what Mars would look like if it was terraformed. Now, my story takes place over 400 years in the future. And, oh, that's right, Mars has a huge fucking scar. Guess what's today? It is Wednesday, my dudes. Should probably also look at a terraformed Venus. Because they've terraformed Venus as well. Deltarune oh yeah, that's right. Deltarune Chapter 3 and 4 came out today. I'll be watching Wee1 play it. Wee-Wee. But he's asleep right now. So we're letting him sleepies. Shh, shh, shh. He EB and Nibichu sleepy. Okay, I like this version of Venus better. Name for the fan. Okay, so yeah, terraformed Venus has islands. It's mostly like an island planet. All I could ask for is option. That's the thing. Yeah, what's up? I'm gonna grab this, I think. I'm looking at different planets, don't mind me. Now the question is, would they have terraformed any moons? I'm gonna have to look at the different moons we have in our solar system. Because a couple of moons that could be terraformed would probably be a booze on Jupiter. Because Jupiter has a pretty big ice planet thing going along. Not ice planet, like gas giant thing going on. In my story, the teenagers work for the government with, like, hunting supernatural creatures. Yeah. My question is, do you think it would work better? It's like the kids didn't work and they just hunted supernatural creatures on their own as, like, a club or something. Um, that has to be within the discretion of your story. If it makes more sense that they wouldn't be working for the government because they aren't allowed to for some reason, then yes, a whole club thing would make sense. Uh, but you don't have to, like, bend things around too bad to try and explain why they're working for the government, if that's what you want to do. I say, at your own discretion, what do you think you would prefer for them? And that's how I would approach it. And if you're not sure, flip a coin. The coin will tell you how you feel about it. Alright, I have 5,000 tabs open, but that's okay. Okay, this is a stock photo. This is a stock photo. Excellent, excellent. I'll be using stock photos, by the way. I don't like using not stock photos because it's awkward. But I also don't want to, like, draw this shit if it already exists. Okay, this looks really good. This is an art rendition. This is not from NASA. I mean, it would work either way. I'm just having trouble deciding which way I want to go down. That's fair. I guess look at the story as a whole, how you would want it to go, and figure out what would be better for that story. How would the kids be able to do what they do? Would being in the government make it harder to do what they're doing, or would being in a club make it more difficult because they don't have access to what they normally would if they were working for the government? Also, how do they know what is out there? Do they have some sort of intel from a friend, or is, like I said, the government telling them what to do? It's all about that. At least as far as I'm concerned. Oof, there we go. Alright, so I have Earth and the Moon. I named it Earth so I won't forget. I won't forget. And let's plop in a terraformed Mars rendition made by NASA. Thank you, NASA. Oh! I was on the wrong fucking layer.
I got an itch. Got an itch.
Okay, I'm better.
I had an itch. I got better.
I might want to make this a little bigger. A little smaller, just a little. You said I wouldn't have to bend like the suspension of disbelief to explain why they're working for the government. Why is it an explanation? What is an explanation I could use to explain why they're working there? I do not know the inner workings of the world, so I would not be the best person to answer that question. Because I don't know how the government works. I don't know if you're talking about, like, a secret government, a specific country's government, the supernatural version of the government. Because if it's regular government, it may be the kids are the only things they can get a hold of, you know? But if it's an actual supernatural government, like I said, maybe the kids are the next generation. Maybe they do things differently than we do. It's the normal US government, they just know about the supernatural. Then kids could probably be in some sort of program that helps them understand the supernatural better if the kids themselves have supernatural abilities. Especially if this is some sort of, like, secret world situation. Alright, let me come in with this. Cover all that red. I'll blend this all in once I get in here. Ah, okay, thank you.
Glad I can help. I'm just painting planets.
I like the program idea now, I just need to come up with a name for the program. Bro, naming shit is not my strong suit. I cannot help you there. You are on your own, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, young Padawan. I should probably be using the actual painter. Yeah, there we go. Because I have an actual paintbrush that I can use. Okay, and now I'm gonna take my texture brush. Where is it? Are you the texture? You are the texture. Let's texture this thing. By the way, fun fact, this is a texture I imported from Paint Tool Sai. I took it. It was mine and I took it. It was a brush I had for a while. I hate naming stuff too. I still haven't named the organization and the government they work for. Try to think of, like, anagrams you might want to use as well, if you're struggling with names. Because, or even, like, shortcuts for names. Like, for me, for instance, the people who run this, entire thing that I'm working on, how do I word this? They're the company that makes the planets go around. the known galactic arm for humans. This looks terrible. Let me not do this. They are called Atlas. And Atlas... Oh, because it's blending it. It's applying and blending. Got it. If that's the case, I'm gonna do this. But, yeah, they call themselves Atlas, and that's because it's the Syrian Atlas company. But they've shortened it to Atlas since then because, lots of PR changes, like little stunts that they've tried to pull over the centuries since their initial launch. And it's called Syrian because it happened after they met with a brand new set of aliens. These aliens are called the Syrians because they're from the star Sirius, which is only 8 light years away from us. What had happened was a couple of centuries in our future, so in like 2200, the Syrians were starting to face a fucking crisis. They were having to deal. David the pet. The Syrians were having to deal with like very, very low birth rates and borderline infertile situation. They looked to Earth and went, hey, they have people. In fact, they have like almost a fucking. How many people do we have right now? We have about 8 billion. By that time, we would have had about 20 billion. They're like, yo, they are thriving. And I'm saying 20 billion because they had roughly about 10 billion on the planet Earth, and then by now they would have been colonizing and terraforming Mars. They had about 5 billion people on Mars. And they went, yo, they're kind of cool now. You wanna go over there? So they came to us with only 5 million people or so, and went, hey, we kind of need DNA. Could you help us? Now back then they were using something called Warp 1 technology, which means they were as fast as light. They could travel at the speed of light. So the Syrians and a bunch of Earthlings, or Terrans, decided to come together and make a company to let them go back and forth between each other and slowly learn how to make faster-than-light aircraft. Over time, they started getting the eyes of other alien species who were like, hey, stay cool. They stayed cool for the most part. And that's basically the little history lesson for that. Ugh, I burped. I'm gonna do this and see what happens. I'm very curious. Nothing good. Got it. Although it does match slightly. Maybe I could blend it. Hold on. Good world building.
Oh, thank you. I try my best.
But yeah, that's how I see it. Me yelling about my world. I have an idea. I don't want fingertip. I want the paint. I want to blend these clouds together. Yeah. Oh, that kind of blender is terrible. I need to figure out how to bring these in a little better than that, because that looks stupid. I'm trying to paint it in, but it's not working the way I want it to. Would fantasy races procreate with humans, and what would happen if that were to happen? Fantasy or... Oh, ads are about to start. I will answer this question once it is finished. I will hold on to that. And I will fight with this canvas. Freaking ads. I could use my regular brush here. Oh, you're subscribed! You have a teacup! Oh my gosh, you're right! You are subscribed, you have a teacup! Okay, then yeah, I can answer. For fantasy races, I would let... Well, I prefer letting creatures just procreate. At one point I was a stickler for it. I'm like, no, they must only procreate with these. But, since then I've kind of loosened up a bit about that. And when it comes to either fantasy or, like, sci-fi, like, different species or races, I just let them procreate. And what were to happen, for me, they would turn into literally a hybrid of what they come from. So let me go look at my hybrids. I already have this. Let me go grab them. So, okay, this is just humans wearing medical uniforms. Hybrids, here we go. So this is a human Syrian hybrid. This is if a dark-skinned human and a slightly dark-skinned Syrian had kids together. So you can see here, these are the parents, this is the human, this is the Syrian. You can see the combination of them put together. And I've done this for a few other races. I've also done it for the humans and Zedans, which is human here, Zedan. So you can see the difference, human and Zedan. And then I combined them. And I do have basic rules on how each race hybridizes. So, like, for instance, Zedans and humans have different fingers. Humans have 4, Zedans have 3. Whoa, they tall. Yeah, they're the tall grays, as I've been calling them. Or the tall whites, tall grays, whatever, whatever they're called. They are like the little grays, if you know what those are. They're called Zeta Reticulans in the, ufology circle, I guess is the best way to describe it. And... yeah, their hybrid comes to about the middle point here, so a little less than 6 feet. And I do the, rule of thumb of add, don't subtract. So, since humans have 4 fingers and a thumb, and Zedans have 3 fingers and a thumb, I made it to where their hybrid would have the human 4 fingers and thumb. And that is because I don't want to take away fingers from the hybrid. The hybrid comes out with all of them. Same thing with the toes. Humans have 5. The Zedans have 3, so I equalized it and made it to where it was 4. So, in the event that there's 4 fingers and 2-fingered races coming together, I give them 3 fingers. Like I said, I add, I don't subtract. Same thing with tails, wings, feathers, horns. If a human and, say, which I haven't drawn these yet, but I will be getting there at some point. If a human and an avian got together, here's a bird, here's Homan, you know. A human and a bird person would probably make a really feathery humanoid. They might have some sort of beak combo on their forehead and nose, and then like an underside of a regular nose to kind of hybridize their thing. They also have 4 fingers and a thumb, so that would stay completely equal. But then I would add the feathers and the tail, because I like to add, not subtract. So I come in and I just hybridize what I can. So that's what would happen for me if I had 2 races put together. I would see what they would come out looking like as a hybrid creature. And the reason they can do that, which humans can't normally breed with anything other than other humans, and that is because it's how our DNA works. We cannot breed with anything that is 98% the same DNA as us. Okay, I see. But I've kind of foregone that rule for the sake of just fun and world building. Not to mention, in this version of Earth, and in this version of my stories here, I want all creatures to come from the same seedbed of life for a very specific reason. Not to say that they all look humanoid. Like, it's going to be like a similar answer to what someone explained Star Trek doing it. In Star Trek, for instance, all of the aliens look mostly human. They have 4 fingers, a thumb, 5 toes, plantigrade feet, which means it lays flat on the ball and heel. Digitigrade would be like the wolf paws, where it's like the heel is up and the you know, you're walking on your toes essentially. That's digitigrade, but no, everything is plantigrade. Everything also has 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, you know, that humanoid look. And according to Star Trek, it's because they all are seeded from the same bit of life. There was an ancient race that ran around seeding all of these planets and then fucking off, and everything evolved to, whenever it got to sapience, became human looking. I propose another reason that happens. I do a 2-fold method. I do also have an ancient species that decided to seed life here and there. It wasn't that crazy though, and it was more than one type of species doing it. And 2, I do something called convergent evolution, which means the model for sapient life is probably gonna look human. In fact, the eye, this is a fun little fact, the eye has evolved independently without evolutionary connections 30 times. At least 20 to 30 times. Which is fucking mind-boggling to think about. Which means there wasn't just one ancestor that had eyes and then we all came from that. There was an ancestor that split off into a bunch of different ancestors that were all eyeless, and then those descendants all evolved eyes independently from each other. Because we all needed a way to see the area that we were in as we evolved more complex structures and organ systems. That's fucking cool. That is something called convergent evolution. It's also why everything seems to slowly evolve into crabs, the carcinogation of the planet, as, or the universe as people like to say. You know, return to crab. That's convergent evolution in real time. We are seeing it, and it's very fucking cool. So that's why I would personally think aliens would look a little bit like us. They would walk on 2 legs, they would use 2 hands for tools, maybe even 4. They would probably have eyes, noses, you know, and a mouth, some sort of olfactory senses to let them be sort of similar to us, and they would probably have some sort of vocal cords. And the reason I bring all that up is because that's what separates us from most animals. Not to say we're not different from animals, but we have vocal cords that let us communicate to each other very complex facts. We have hands for tools, and we walk upright. And walking upright is the main thing you need to start growing your brain. Most animals, and even most of our living relatives, chimps and bonobos, walk hunched, and their heads and brains are smaller as a result. The more upright we are, the easier it is for us to stabilize and keep that big old brain stable while we walk. So something that would be sapient would probably have this very similar pattern. And I find that absolutely fucking fascinating. So, for my species, they are all upright if they are sapient. That is how I do this. And, not, like I said, some of them were seated the way humans were. Syrians, for instance, are probably some sort of long-ass seated, like, human cousin of some sort. Zedans actually have, this fun little thing called neoteny, which is a little bit representative of a human baby, which is weird to think about because they're so long and lanky. But the fun thing about Zeta Reticulans, especially like the little guys, the supposed like 4-foot tall gray aliens that crashed in, Area 51, those dudes, they look like little humans, like little baby humans, almost. They have absurdly large heads and eyes, and they look like they've been infanticized slightly. Because they have tiny noses, tiny mouths, big head, big eyes, and spindly baby bodies, almost. Some of them even have like a slight belly like you see infants having, but they're grown. They're completely grown, they're mature, and they're, fully realized adults is the best way to put it. And that is because, for some reason, neoteny seems to be the word of the day for evolution. It's basically babyfication. For instance, if you look at an adult human, we kind of look like a baby chimp. It's very slight. Baby chimpanzees have very flat faces compared to their parents, because the parents' face and jaw come out over time as they mature. Our faces are also a lot more flat, just like the baby. So if you were to take a baby chimpanzee and let it age to keep looking like a baby chimp, but it grew up to be an adult, and then you do that again, and again, and again, you eventually get us. So that is what the Zedans are, which means they are old. They return to baby old. So the Zedans are also really fun. They're an old species, though. I want to say they're at least 500,000 years old. Humans are only around 200 to 300,000 years old. And when I say humans, I mean like the modern sapient Homo sapiens sapiens. We're not that old. The Zedans are around 500, 600,000, so they're double our age. So their evolutionary tract is pushed farther than ours. They're also longer, and their necks are longer because they're from a planet with less gravity. I don't know where I was going with this, but I fucking love evolution. That's all you need to know about it. But that's how I approach these things. And all of these humanoid aliens that I have going on, I want them to all be kind of related to each other, which means these guys were seeded longer ago than humans were. As for these guys, I don't know when they were seeded, but they are shorter, they're cuter, they're squishier, and they're like they're based off the Hopkinsville goblin that was supposedly seen in the 50s. You will find that like half of my aliens are based off of aliens that we have supposedly seen. I say supposedly because I personally believe most of the sightings are probably bullshit, but it's a cool way to get inspiration for my own stuff. Like Syrians, for instance. They're supposedly an alien race we're in contact with. But fucking, I don't know. I can't tell you. These are mine. I created these. These are my babies. You cannot take them from me. But all of these guys, since they are plantigrade, star-handed, or star-handed, what's the word? Two-handed, 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, they're probably all seeded from the same thing. Just like in Star Trek, where everything was seeded from the same thing. However, not everything was in mine, but they can still connect to each other because of this fun little thing that humans have been going through, that is their DNA manipulation. Humans in my world are surprisingly adaptable and can have kids with pretty much anything. Because I am a crackhead. And I have my Skarma. These guys are not playable, but these are my Gorel, and I love them. We got my birds. See, the birds are not obviously going to be related to humans at all, but they can still have hybrid children with them because of this convergent evolution rule that I've put in place. Their DNA is close enough, and human DNA has been played with enough that they can pretty much breed with anything. So that is my very long-winded explanation on why everything can breed with everything. Human DNA, convergent evolution, possible connected seed beds. I will say avians and saurians are probably related in some way. Granted, saurians are from these guys, but I like the idea that birds evolved from some sort of dinosauroid because it's really funny. Because, fun fact, feathers were originally not evolved to help the creature fly. It was thermoregulation and protection. Feathers just decided to evolve one day to help them fly. But we saw walking feathered dinosaurs first before we saw flying dinosaurs with feathers. Which tells us that, you know, they walked before they flew. So I really like the idea, because my Drakkar, they're really cute. Another question, yes, something like a werewolf transform, bones and stuff breaks, right? How do werewolves and stuff heal from that? Like when they shift? I wouldn't think they're breaking so much as they are changing and elongating. I have a werewolf OC named Bobby, and he is adorable. When he changes, it's his body actually going through a metamorphic, like, shift. It's not breaking so much as the affliction that's upon him is shifting his bone structure. Because we all have the same basic bone structure to most animals, we may have less or more bones in general to them, but we all have the same. But does it hurt? I'm sure it's at least very uncomfortable. It's like that achy feeling you get during puberty whenever you, like, grew 3 inches in, like, a year. You're like, oh my god, I'm tired. It would probably be like that, where it's like, ow, 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 ow. But I don't think it would be breaking so much as it would just be stretching. Like, cause, like I said, let's look at my humans, for instance. Their little plantigrade feet here. These, though... No, let's use another one. The Gorel, they're doggos. These are more like canid legs, but you can see right here, this is their ankle, this is their heel. The foot would just get longer, and it would outstretch. And then this bone would get shorter. So, yeah, it would just be bones shifting more than changing and breaking, but it would still hurt. And since we all have pores on our bodies to let hair grow, the hair would obviously get very thick very fast, and the ears would go up and pointy and stuff. That's how it works for Bobby. He can run on all 4s afterwards because his arms do get a little longer. But he can still walk on his hind legs. I was just asking because I have a character who was cursed to turn into a giant moth monster whenever there's a blood moon. That's adorable. So just wanted to ask. Yeah, if that's the case, think about what the moth monster differences are compared to a human, what kind of legs they have, how they get their wings out, you know, whether or not they become very furry, stuff like that. Were creatures are very interesting to think about. Okay, let me continue working on this. Flip. Okay, yeah, I'm using the correct pen. I think I'm just gonna cover a lot of it with clouds. It makes it easier that way. Character's name is Ruby, is actually the origin of Mothman myth in this universe. Cute! I love moths. I actually have a Mothman species here. They're the crackheads of the universe. There they are. They both have wings. I just put one on the males because it would have cut off on the female over here. But the males have the big ass antenna, the females have the cute little antennas, and then they have those little moth mouths. You know what I'm talking about, where they have like the two little feelers and they're very cute. And when they open their mouth, it's more like kind of vertical, and they stick out their tongue, and they use it like a straw. It has a hole at the very end, and then it has a hole in the back of their mouth, like about in the middle of their mouth, and they can close and open this hole, kind of like, and they use it kind of like an elephant trunk, where they just suck it all in, and they drink stuff. They like to drink. They are cute. They are like fructivores, kind of. I think that's the term. They can eat meat and vegetables and all that, but they don't get as much sustenance, and they are little sugar fiends. They fucking love the nectar. They come from a planet where they have giant, what is it called? Megaflora. They have megaflora and megafauna. So these guys are like regular ass sized moths to their planet. Their planet's not actually that heavy gravitationally. Its gravity is very weak because its core is starting to slow down. Their planet will actually probably die within the next few million years, which doesn't sound like a long time, but it sounds like a long time, but it's not in terms of, you know, space. But I feel like their planet will eventually start to shut down after a few million years, but it's a huge planet, but its gravitational pull is not that strong, and everything has learned to grow big. Kind of like how on our planet things used to be huge. But their planet is also just really big in general. And yeah, they're considered kind of tiny compared to like the creatures on their planet. And they drink from these giant fucking flowers. And they live in trees. And they're very cute. And while they're running around in the universe, in the galaxy, they're just looking for that next high. they're just looking for that next sugar. And I love them. I have a lot of these creatures. I have the Kolbesh as well. I have a lot of aliens. That's all you need to know. Hey, if you don't like spiders, close your eyes. But 3, 2, 1. I have spider babies. And I love them. They do have hair. Well, I just don't draw hair. And there's their Chicillary. I like the idea of... There's my mantids. I like the idea of creatures with little things on their mouth, like here and here. And they use them to, like, help kiss you. But yeah, little babies. Alright, let's go back to my planet. Let's go back to my planet. Let's finish drawing the planet. Let's all go to the lobby. I was singing that basically. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat. Get ourselves a treat. Get ourselves a treat. Maybe I should do this with a textured brush. Because this is a really good texture. What about this? Hold on, I need to figure out what these are. I don't remember. They're just called texture. So thanks, me, for telling me what the fuck these are. I think this is my chainmail. I already have chainmail, though. It's right here. Yeah. So this is my texture sample, then. How do I edit this? There we go.
Cecil, baby.
I have a cat. The moth monster form probably has like 6 legs, the red bug eyes like Mothman, a big fuzzy neck, and some hard exoskeleton stuff like that. Obviously the antenna. Ruby walks on all 6 of the legs while in that form, but he is able to go on 2 legs if need be. Interesting. So he's got like 4 arms, sort of.
Oh, geez, that's too big.
Okay, I don't need to worry about that. Or that. That's ripples. What are you? Dirt. What are you? Like old paper? And you are the same. I guess I could call it rough.
What, Cecil?
There we go. Rough paper.
Cecil! You let him sleep. You let him sleep. Don't stand on him and yell.
My cat is being a butthole. One of the arms only show in the moth monster form. He has to grow them when he transforms. That's fair. Yeah. Little kid. You be a behave kid. Alrighty. So, I have my textures labeled. That will make this a lot easier. Get ourselves a treat. I'm gonna use my dirt brush. So I can combine these better. See how nice that looks. Oh, that looks so good. Look how nice and combined it looks now. Not to say it didn't look good before, but it was looking a little funny. And I can use this to add more cloud coverage. Also, blending these together and learning how this should work is a very good way for me to know how to make my stuff later in the transition period.
Oh, hello, Cecil.
Can I help you? Can I help you? Cecil! Cecil! What are you doing? Stop! Nope.
Good boy. Hey, what's she doing? Aww. Sweet boy.
He's letting me kiss him on his face.
Cecil.
I have hair in my mouth.
Hi, baby. Hi, baby.
I hold him. I wish I could let you guys hear his purrs. I don't think it's picking up on the mic.
Kiss him.
Okay. Excuse me, Bubby. I would like to see my screen, please. Thank you. He has a few traits. There he goes. He has a few traits that appear both when he's human and not, like his love of sweet things and light. Whenever he always has a bunch of lamps or other things around him. Cute. Works at an occult bookstore. He's a shy little nerd boy. That's so cute.
Oh, baby. Cecil, no.
from that. No, stop that. Don't bite my finger indignantly. My little kid is being a little roughhouser. Is that this song? It sounds like it. Oh well. Okay, let's pull this up. Pull this up. My nose itches. Help. Okay, I should be better now. Let me use the rough paper. That makes it look a little better over here. And what I'm doing is essentially blending two textures together. I know it probably doesn't look like that, but it is. That's how I'm doing it. I think I did it. It looks all blended and nice. Alright, so Mars, what kind of moon you got? Ruby has a romance with the main character who has light powers. That's cute. Alright, let's go look at Mars's moons. Phobos, you still look like a fucking potato. You poor thing. Oh no, it's Deimos that looks like a potato. You poor thing. Look at these things. look at his moon. Look at Deimos. Stupid bastard. It's the silliest little moon.
Thank you for the stretch, Astrid.
Oh, that felt really good. That actually felt really nice. That stretch was very, very good. Oh, alrighty. What I'm gonna do is come in here and do this. Because I don't need to lose all of this black on the moon. There we go. And now I come in here and erase that.
No, Deimos, I erased all of your stuff. Hold on. Let me make you a little potato man again. Let me lump you into a little potato shape.
There you are, my boy. Alright. Now I can come in here and erase this. Goodbye. And I'm gonna bring this into the picture. Because poor little Deimos, poor little Phobos, these poor moons have had it real bad. Like, all their lives. Random question, not related to anything. Hypothetically, what would happen if Earth's moon, like, broke apart or just disappeared? We would probably... Obviously, we'd lose our waves. Our waves in our planet would not be nearly as strong as they are now. They would still probably move here and there, and we'd still have wind and all that. But, as far as actual waves go, we might be screwed on that front, so we wouldn't be able to seafare as easy as we normally do. And then we would probably start seeing Earth maybe lose its axle tilt over time. The way the moon is locked in with us, it is pretty much, it's literally locked with us when I say that. Because when the Earth turns, the moon turns with it, but in a very slow pattern. So an Earth's or a moon's year is also a moon's day. Which is why we have never seen the backside of the moon. We have only ever seen it look the way it does now. Our moon is very fucking weird. In fact, it's really big. It's really, really big for a moon. And as big as it is, it's pretty confusing for people to look at it and be like, how the fuck is it still in orbit? So there would be a lot of detrimental issues if we lost our moon. It wouldn't happen right away, but it would happen and it would be terrifying. Like I said, one of the major things would be we'd probably lose our waves. And then we would probably start losing our axle tilt very slowly, because the moon is at a very interesting tilt with us that helps keep our axis tilted at about a 24-degree angle, which is a perfect angle for seasons, so we would lose our seasons very slowly as well. Like I said, possibly. This is just me guessing. I am not an astronomer. I cannot properly assess these the way an actual astronomer would be able to, but that is just my hypothesis. I would hate to actually see it happen, because I like our moon. He is cute. Page removed. God damn it. I keep pulling up pictures of planets, and it's like, yep, not there. Like, fuck. But yeah, that's what I think would happen. I have an evil idea for a story thing now. Uh-oh. What did I do? What did I help? Okay, so I'm gonna put this moon here, let him chill, and I'll put this moon here. Just to give them different, like, spots to hang out in. And they're very small. Like I said, Earth's moon is actually pretty weird. Phobos is not as big as Earth's moon. And neither is Deimos. Deimos is this tiny little potato of a moon. But he's cute, and that's all that matters. Alright, there's our moons and our planet. There's terraformed Mars. And now we go to Venus. Does Venus have moons? I think they have one. Also, the way they've terraformed Venus is that they have worked with the atmosphere and are basically floating on it with, kind of like gas boat cities, in a way. They're probably trying to clear the planet, but the way the planet moves, it will be extremely difficult to actually terraform the surface. Terraforming the surface would be very, very, very hard. Because Mars has a pretty much same movement as Earth does, it would make terraforming it a lot easier than it would for Venus. And the reason is Venus has hardly any liquid water. It's covered in sulfuric acid and carbon dioxide, and it turns opposite of our planet. But it clearly started doing this millions of years ago, and it has started slowing down. So Venus, the way Earth spins, for instance, Earth does this, you know, does this fun little spin. Venus does this. It goes backwards very slowly. It's also got no axis. Meanwhile, Mars does. Mars has a pivoted axis just like Earth does. Venus is up. Venus has a 5-degree axis, which means no seasons on the surface of the planet. Now, are they cleaning the surface of the planet? Probably. They probably want to do something with it, but I don't know what yet. And I think they would be living in some sort of cities that can catch this sulfuric acid and carbon dioxide and hoist them up above it to breathe in the atmosphere just above, which does have oxygen, and it can technically be breathed in. I have a sci-fi story that I work on separately from my supernatural story. You gave me an idea for an inciting incident of the sci-fi story. Oh, nice. Sick. I'm glad to have helped. Also, Venus has a really bad greenhouse effect right now, which is why there's no water on the thing. Also, Venus is about as big as Earth, which is really cool. And if you want to see what Venus looks like if it were terraformed, I can show you. We've recorded what the inside of the sulfuric acid clouds look like, and they look like this. So Venus is very islandy. The Earth and Moon being destroyed. No, don't destroy Earth and the Moon. That's sad. If the Earth was destroyed, there could be like a small asteroid belt right there. Yeah, Venus is real hard to deal with. Its atmosphere is dense as fuck. Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, let's look at colonization of Venus. What would we do if we wanted to colonize it? It has been subject to many works of science fiction, blah 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 blah. Venus is an extremely hostile surface environment. Attention has largely shifted towards the colonization of the Moon and Mars instead. That's true, we could also colonize our Moon. I'm thinking of using our Moon for something different. Your Venus is dense, you perv. My Venus. Don't be mean to my Venus. Let's see. Yeah, that's gonna be hard to do. Terraforming of Venus. Venus has been subject to, this is on Wikipedia, Venus has been subject to a number of terraforming proposals. The proposal seeks to remove or convert the dense carbon dioxide atmosphere, reduce Venus's 450 C surface temperature, and establish a day-night light cycle closer to that of Earth. How the fuck are you gonna do that? You drive it and it boosts you. The Moon is a highway, you drive it and it boosts you. I see. The Moon is not highway. Many proposals involve deployment of a solar shade or a system of orbital mirrors. Okay, but that doesn't help Venus's stupid... This doesn't help. See, the main problem with the Venus and the reason its atmosphere is shit is because of its lack of axial tilt, and also it's very, very, very slow rotation. And it's going backwards. You just don't know. Sorry, I'm yelling about Venus and why it's impossible to terraform it the way people want to. It's very hot. It's 800 degrees Fahrenheit on its surface, and it's spinning real stupid. Earth has 24 hours. Venus's day is also its year, pretty much, by how stupid it turns. Obviously, you wear sunscreen, yeah, because that's gonna stop my blood from boiling out of my body the moment I set foot on the surface of Venus. It's not even the sun that'll kill you, it's the sulfuric acid clouds that would kill you. You wouldn't even get to 800 degree temps before the fucking sulfuric acid ate you from the inside out. You drink Prime to rehydrate? You're so right. I'm just not thinking. I'm just not thinking correctly, apparently. Let's see. I don't think anyone would settle on Mercury. Mercury is way too fast. But I could see them using it for some sort of mining facility. I already have Mars. I have Mars right here. That's great. Yeah, he has awesome music. Who has awesome music? Me? Is it me? I don't make music. We breathe nitrogen of 78%? Earth. Atmosphere. Carbon dioxide 0.04%, argon 0.93%, nitrogen 78%, oxygen 20.9%. We don't even breathe most oxygen. We don't even breathe half oxygen. You're lame if I breathe 100% of it. Whatever, you're lame. So that means we would have to mostly dump nitrogen and oxygen. Huh. I was under the impression we breathed more oxygen than that. I knew it wasn't 100%. That would kill us. But interesting. That's crazy. I had no fucking clue. But yeah, no, Venus is hard to establish a connection with. So what I'm gonna have Venus do, they're probably trying. I breathe 100% badass. I believe you, Arson. Also, I hope you're doing okay. What I'm doing currently is organizing my beautiful little planets for my TTRPG called Eldrig Nova. This is Earth, as you can see, 400, 500 years in the future. And this is Mars, 500 years in the future, with its cute little moons that look so funny. They are warped. It need. Now, I was considering Venus next, but I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I want people to be Venusians, obviously. But Venus is very hard to terraform. A lot harder to terraform than Mars would be. It needs more trash floating around it. You're right. I also don't know if I want them to be on the moon. I do like the idea of them having domes on the moon and living there. So the moon probably has domes. Hold on. I have an idea. I'm gonna do this. I like the idea of them settling in these craters. Like just like this. Just coming in here and making this nice and green. And then just sitting on that, you know? Something like that. Out of chips, and I could eat them. Nom, 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 nom. Just eat the chips. Are you okay, Arson? Either I'm reading everything incorrectly, Or you're a little sillier than usual. Also, it could just be me reading things incorrectly. I'm a silly little boy. Alright, so let's look at solar system bodies and what we could terraform. So Mercury is rich in metal and volatiles, as well as solar energy. Mercury is the most energy-consuming body on the solar system. To land for spacecraft launching from Earth, and astronauts there must contend with the extreme temperature differential and radiation. That's true, you can get fucked up going to Mercury. I'm not typing my usual paragraphs. That makes sense. 6.5 solar flux.
Thank you for the sip.
So I could see Mars being used as a solar farming planet. The people would probably have to live underground. I'm very sleepy. That, you know what, I can tell. I can see that. And thank you for the sip. Nom nom. Ah, water. I am also, weirdly enough, a little eepy today, but I don't know why. I slept all day. Night. I slept all night. See? What's wrong with me? But yeah, I don't think they would focus too much on terraforming Mercury. What if they just wear sunglasses? You're so fucking right. Hold on, let me... No, close that. I don't need that. Let me pull up a list here. I'm gonna start writing down what each planet could do if they were terraformed. So I'm gonna start from the sun, which is right here. There's our sun, and then we got Mercury. So the way Mercury, I think, would be used 500... Should I make it 500 years in the future? I've made it 400, but 500 feels a little better. I'll make it 200 and... it'll be the year 2556. I think that's what I'm gonna do. That looks better. Okay, so Mercury. So you know how we have bombs, right? Yes. Why? What are you proposing? What if we had nature bombs? Like you drop one and boom, it's a four. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. That sounds like some sort of seed bomb, where you'd like plop it in. Boom, it's a lake. I mean, theoretically you could technically do that, but you'd need a lot of particle manipulation technology, which we currently do not have. These guys would also not have that. I'm sure there are some species out there that do, but right now I'm focusing on terraformed and inhabited planets by humans and Syrians. Boom, snow. Well, I think you could drop it in, like, you could drop water in a cold climate and let it turn into snow. But yeah, I'm looking at what these guys would have. Also, there's this fun website I found. I have to show you. It is called... Stars. That's all it's called, is Stars. And it is really cool. Here, let me zoom in real quick with it.
Arzen!
Thank you for the goodies. I'm zooming in real hard into our solar system on this website real quick. No, I zoomed in a little too far. Alright. So this is our... it's trying to make me save it. Hold on. There we go. This is our solar system. This website is real fucking cool. Let me make it a little bigger. So this is our sun, the Sol, as I've been calling it, because it's a solar system, because Sol means sun. There is Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. These are the 4 planets I'm going to be mostly focusing on. We can also zoom out. The asteroid belt is not visible, but that's fine. Oh, Salem! Thank you for the stretch. Let me get a little hit. Cool. I popped my fingers, I popped my wrists, and I popped my back, all in, like, succession. So I just started... everything just popping. But yeah, this is our immediate solar system. The asteroid belt would be here, and then our outer planets would be here. Juniper, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And they don't add Pluto or the new guy we found, Orcus. I love Pluto and Orcus. Be nice to them. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we have a new dwarf planet in our solar system. He is very far out. He has an elliptical pattern, and it was very hard to see him. But because we saw how his gravity affected other planets in our solar system, we had a pretty good theory that he was out there, we just never saw him. We finally found him. His name is Orcus now. Congrats. Go Google Planet Orcus. We love him. He is the newest member of our little solar system. Petition to rename Jupiter to Juniper.
No, I didn't mean to call it that.
Yeah, let me Google that real quick to make sure I'm not giving you bullshit.
Yeah, Orcus, the dwarf planet.
It's a little boy. We finally got a picture of him. And he has a moon named Vanth. And he's near our, comparable to the inner solar system dwarf planet Ceres. But he's right there. Oh, we knew about him in 2004. Why am I just now hearing about this? Oh my god, he has an orbital period of 245 years. No fucking wonder it took us a while to see this boy. But yeah, he's technically part of our solar system, which is cool as fuck. It's cool, you can use this to see galaxies, and all I have to do is look at my life size. Arson, that's gay. That's really cute. That's really gay, but that's also really cute. Alrighty, let me zoom back out. But yeah, you can zoom out for a while. If space gives you the heebie-jeebies like it does me, I'm being very careful with how I do this. We zoom on out of our zone. I'm still zooming. 1 light year stretches across about our Oort cloud that we live in. And then the first star shows up. Alpha Centauri and Proxima Centauri. I want there to be planets near these stars that they settle on. Oh, and Gliese! Gliese is so close! He's like 5 light years away! Brought my pride. You bought your pride flag yesterday. Nice! What's your pride flag? I never asked. It's Pride Month. Everyone show your pride flags. I have 2. I'm wearing mine, technically. I'm always the color of it. Never got a chance to buy one before, so I have it hanging up.
Cute.
Okay, I can close all this out because I don't need it. Yeah, I don't think I'll be terraforming Venus. It's a bit difficult to do. Unless they learn how to just really add to the atmosphere, it's going to be really difficult to do. Especially since, like I said, Venus has this weird, non-axial tilt, pretty much non-axial tilt, backwards rotation. It is a wild little planet. Alright, let me look for the moon, though. I don't think I want the moon to be terraformed. I want it to have little domes. And I think these domes are going to be settled near, frozen lakes that they've melted and turned into little livable zones, basically. And then they probably have underground tunnels that let them go to each other. Yeah, and as for Venus, I can't see it being terraformed easily. Oh, it doesn't have any moons! Oh no, poor Venus. She doesn't got no moons. That's okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking for, and I figured it out. Girl ain't got no moon. But that's okay. She don't need them. Alright, so I can close out some of these because I don't need them anymore. I'm gonna keep this up. That is a pretty planet. Wolftopia is gorgeous. For those of you who don't know what Wolftopia is, it looks like cotton candy. And it is a very pretty moon. Moon? It's a very pretty planet. Oh, this is Shiny Man. This guy's cool. He makes a lot of really pretty planets. I think I'll stare at his deviant art and use his stuff as inspiration. Now, the planets... Oh, ad starts in a minute. I apologize. But we play hour-long, once an hour, 3-minute ads, just to make sure, you know, pre-rolls don't go, because pre-rolls upset me greatly. If I was on the moon, I'd eat fondue, because it's cheese. Is that the joke? It's because it's cheese. Oh, that is a creepy creature. Oh, that's something I want to do as well. I want to eventually start designing creatures, as well as certain monsters, because, you know, you want your planet inhabited. But for now, I'm just working on our solar system's planets, which means they probably have, a lot of the same animals from our planet. Let me move this, by the way. There we go. This music is very catchy. Although I might hop to another playlist. I think let's do that. Who wants to listen to the Elder Scrolls? Me, I do. It'd be really funny if all the knowledge we have about space and all these other planets that we found never been to was just completely false. They were something completely different, like if you went to Mars, it was just made out of, like, Doritos. Well, to be fair, we've technically been to Mars, and we have Mars rocks. But I've never licked a Martian rock, so I can't tell you if it tastes like Doritos. If it did, that would be rad. I would do it. I just reminded myself that my boy licked a rock yesterday.
Hello, ads.
We got ads. Alright, I currently do not need these Kepler planets, but I will keep them here. This is the Mars planet that I used. I don't need that anymore. Okay, I also want to try and find a planet to make and inspire off of for Sirius. Oh, why? Oh, my neighbor has to fix his brakes. It's so squeaky. Alright, so let's continue with what I was doing. Mercury. Then we have Venus. Venus is bigger than that. What am I doing? I believe it's Venus afterwards. And then Earth. Earth is around the same size as Venus, and then we have Mars, which is smaller. So after that, we have our asteroid belt. I'm gonna do this. It reminds me of the Tumblr story of the guy who said he took his geology final high on LSD and aced it by licking the rocks. That's actually a valid way of doing certain things. I mean, I wouldn't encourage people to lick rocks, but apparently if you lick rocks, sometimes you can actually tell what it is based on the texture and the taste, which is really funny. So we got the asteroid belt. And this is going to come in handy as well. And I believe after that it's Jupiter. Jupiter. I'm just trying to remember my solar system. I have that fucking map pulled up. I could zoom back in and look at my solar system. So after Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, asteroid belt. Jupiter, I believe, Neptune, and then Uranus? No, Saturn, and then Uranus, and then Neptune. I got it backwards. So yeah, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, asteroid belt, Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus. What does Saturn look like? Right, it's got those rings. It's very pretty. Saturn. Jupiter has that creepy eye, like that. It's a huge gas planet with a giant storm. If you lick a rock and your tongue kind of sticks to it, that's probably a bone fragment. Probably don't ask how I know. Salem, how do you know this? I like how I can make my model look just fucking done. Hold on. Hold on, let me. Salem, how do you know this? I said don't ask, but I already did. Alright, so Saturn. And then we have the twins, Uranus and Neptune. And I call them twins because one's like a dark blue and the other's a light blue, and they're very pretty. Now, the reason I'm including these guys is because they have moons, and moons are solid. These are gas giants, but moons are rocks, and we can sit on them. So I'm including all of the planets just in case I want to have my moons settled on as well. So first things first, Mercury is not terraformed, so I'm not going to worry about that. But people do live underground. And it is used for a mining operation. So it is full of mining. Mars has been completely terraformed. Oh wait, no. Venus is next. Venus is partially terraformed. And they have cities in the sky. Earth is where we're from. And then Mars is completely terraformed. There we go. The asteroid belt is also for mining. They're very careful with how they do it, though. They don't want to make the asteroids start collapsing and then getting pulled into either Mars or Jupiter because they're small. And their gravity no longer affects each other the same way, so they have to be very careful without, you know, they don't want them to lose too much mass. I feel like they had issues with that in the past, which is why they know what it does. And they probably have stations on certain asteroids. Now, let's go look at Jupiter's moons. I don't think I'll use any of Saturn, Uranus, or Neptune's moons, but Jupiter, well, maybe Saturn. Let's go look. So, Jupiter. Let's look at your biggest moons first. It has 4 big moons that we can see, but it has in total like 97 moons. Which is why I think they called it Jupiter, because it's... Well, they name all of the moons after Jupiter's lovers. Because they're assholes. And it's really funny, because they sent a probe to Jupiter once, named after the Roman goddess for Hera. So basically Hera was going to go check up on Zeus, is pretty much what happened, and it was really funny. But yeah, the 4 Galilean moons, aka they were found by Galileo Galilei, is Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, which I believe are the 4 people that Zeus banged that we know of the most. And I believe a couple of these can actually be terraformed. Callisto is gorgeous, what the fuck? Why is Callisto so pretty? Ganymede's also pretty. I believe Europa is ice. Europa, are you nothing but ice? I don't think I'm gonna worry about any other moons. I think I'm just gonna worry about these. Oh my god, these moons are big too. They're really big. They're like a 12th to 10th of Jupiter's size. And Jupiter's huge. So that's wild. Alright, Andrastea? Adrastea. That's apparently also a moon, but I'm not gonna look at it. Oh, look at the moons! So I'm watching the moons go around their planet. It's really cool. So I'm gonna open up all of these, and the reason I say we could probably terraform Jupiter's moons is because we could use Jupiter as a thermal reference to terraform, and make Jupiter act kind of like a sun, like its own mini sun, because of the energy it would put off. Now, it wouldn't be giving us nearly as much as our regular sun, but it could help. That is pretty. I'm staring at Io again, and it's... holy fuck. Apparently you can get something called a Jupiter shine on the moons. It's when the sunlight reflects off of Jupiter and reflects onto a moon. Like a bounce back effect, and it is pretty. It looks like gold. Alright, so Io looks like... oh no, that's... yeah, that's Io. Io's going very fucking fast. I might make it Europa. But then again, Europa, I think, is nothing but ice. Are you nothing but ice? Let me look. Because I do want a couple of moons to be terraformed on. I should probably write about Earth's moon. We are not going to be terraforming any of Mars's moons. We're also not going to be terraforming a Venus moon, because apparently Venus doesn't have moons. I didn't know that. Apparently it don't. So, Earth's moon... it's not terraformed, but it's partially terraformed and has domes. And the reason I'm doing this is because I need to know where people can come from. There's also going to be off-planet colonies that float around in space cities, aka, like, think of like floating hotels almost. They're giant space stations, or just spaceships in general, that are gaining its energy from the solar radiation of a star that they're sitting near, and they use that energy to just keep the ship running. And they recycle anything that they have in terms of water, just like we do. They have horticulture inside the ship. They grow fruits and veggies and all that. And I think it's really fun. I like the idea of there being some sort of spaceship that also acts as a city. So I'm sure those exist as well. Not to mention the planets that we can go to. Like, for instance, let's say Alpha Centauri has a planet or two. Maybe we've terraformed that. Or even it's been terraformed by another type of alien at some point. We live there now, 500 years in the future. So partially terraformed domed cities. Okay. And then after the asteroid belt, I will take down Jupiter's 3 moons and see, or 4 moons, and see if I want to do anything with it. So there's Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. I keep wanting to say Calypso because I'm silly, but there we go. There are our 4 moons that we could possibly terraform. Let me separate them out a little easier. There we go. And we will look at their different structures. So, Europa, oh god, Europa orbits Jupiter in roughly 3.55 days. That is fast. Alright, so let's study these moons and make sure they are terraformable. Tidal heating. The surface. Experiment with the ancient surfaces of Moon, Mars, Mercury. Numerous impact craters. Yes, 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 I knew that. The surface is almost completely lacking in impact craters, instead covered in smooth plains dotted with tall mountains. That sounds pretty. Io's surface is covered in a variety of color materials, leading to be compared to a rotten orange or to pizza. From various sulfurous compounds. The lack of impact craters indicates Io's surface is geologically young, aka it's a baby moon. The result was spectacularly confirmed at least 9 active volcanoes. Nice. Got spots of volcanoes. So that means this thing is pretty warm. That's a lot of volcanoes. Horizons show Io's volcano spewing material. Oh my god! That would actually probably make it kind of maybe easy to terraform. We could use the volcanoes themselves to cover the moon and cool it off, and also start simulating a part of an atmosphere. I could see us doing that. Start trying to create some sort of greenhouse effect. But I need to figure out how big it is and its gravitational pull. Because I don't want to make humans get thrown off. So, surface area. Very little. Mass. Oh my god, its mass is very small. Density, surface gravity. 0.1. We would be flown off this thing. Got it. But it does. It is. Comes in, muscles bulging bulgingly. He muscled bulgily. If that's the case, Io might just be another mining facility. With inside bases. And inside, it probably simulates atmosphere and gravity a bit better, because Io does not have gravity for shit. Its surface gravity is a 0.1% of Earth's gravity, which means it's a 10th heavier. Yeah, it's a 10th heavier than Earth, meaning it's not heavy at all. Interesting. Okay, so I figured out what I want to do with Io. Europa, I believe, is nothing but ice. Slightly smaller than Earth's moon. It's... God, these things are big. It's the least massive. Its bulk density suggests a similar composition to terrestrial planets. And it is made of a lake of ice. It is nothing but water. It has a lot of water on the inside. You know what's cool as fuck? By the way, we've had scientists wonder and hypothesize that Europa might have life, and we just can't tell because we can't penetrate that ice crust of the top of the lake, but maybe there is some sort of life underneath because of the inside of the water getting warm enough. I have to make up most of these entrances as I go along, even if I copy the joke and drew the day for multiple streams. Hey, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Bacterial life, maybe. Yeah, but still, that's still life. That's really cool. We started from bacteria. I think that's rad. But yeah, there could be some sort of life in there, and I find that very fucking interesting. Nah, watch there be mermaids. Oh no, that reminds me of a horror movie where we actually went to Europa in the horror movie, and at the very end, spoilers for those who want to watch it, I guess, there was life on the moon, and they found it, and it was cool looking. Possible effect of radiation. Oh, there could be radiation. Yeah, life could exist in its under ice ocean, perhaps in an environment similar to Earth's deep ocean hydrothermal vents. Even if Europa lacks volcanic hydrothermal activity, it sounds like Earth-like levels of hydrogen and oxygen could be produced through the process related to, I don't know that word, serpentinization. It's just material stuff. Basically, it has the potential to cook up some life on the inside, which is fucking cool. Considering there are life living at the bottom of the sea near volcanic vents that do not rely on photosynthesis, there is. In fact, that's kind of how microbial life started. It couldn't really, do that sort of stuff at first, and then it slowly rose to the surface and learned how. We were at the same point. Yeah. So who knows, maybe they have a Cambrian explosion going on in Europa, and we would never fucking know, because we can't look. Granted, that's very, very, very unlikely, but it's still cool to think about. What if Europa's just home to mermaids, Like, granted, they wouldn't look like our mermaids, they would look a lot different, but I think it'd be really cool. No, I don't think we can do anything with Europa, so I'm going to get rid of it. Sorry, Europa, we're not doing anything with you. Can't do anything with a big frozen lake-ass planet. They might be trying to drill into it at some point and try to see what's in the ice, but the ice is just so fucking thick. They're like, we don't know how to do this. Europa has too little energy input for much life at all, but some may be possible. Ice. Mermaids. Alright, so not doing anything with Europa. Ganymede, what do you do? You have a good... Nah, your orbital speed's fine. Volume, mass. You have even less mass than Io. Density. Okay. Gravity. Just as bad as Io. That's fine. Trojan Prince. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot Ganymede's a Trojan Prince that Zeus wanted. He's like, wow, you're pretty. Grabs. Zeus casually steals boyfriend. And now he's his cupbearer, which means he's the bottom. I think they had Ganymede as a water-covered moon in Cowboy Bebop. Probably. Cowboy Bebop did a lot of this kind of stuff, too. I'm probably not going to do anything with Ganymede as well. Because it doesn't say it really has much on it. See, with Io it makes sense, because Io's covered in a lot of varying minerals and material that we could probably harvest and use for something. Ganymede's just a rock, from what I can see. It doesn't really have... It's not really giving, he's not giving. No offense to him. Oh, that's why. He is also ice in certain areas. Suspect Ganymede had a thick ocean between two layers of ice, one on the surface and one beneath the liquid ocean, and atop the rocky mantle. Ganymede, why? That's so much water. You don't need that. Titan? Titan. What is that moon? I only wrote down the 4 Galilean moons. It might be a moon from something else. Whose moon is that? I found the god of big gay. Ganymede. Jupiter's, I think? Yeah, I only wrote down the biggest 4. Maybe Neptune. Saturn! It's Saturn's moon. It's the largest in this. Whoa, it's huge. It's the only moon known to have an atmosphere denser than Earth's, and is the only known object in space on which there's clear evidence stable bodies of liquid exist. It's one of the gravitational rounded moons of Saturn, and the most distant among them. It's a planet-like moon. Interesting. He's thick as fuck. Titan has a surface gravity of 0.1. It has water. It's very pretty. And it is liquid water, ocean, ice. It's another ice moon with liquid water all over it. Underneath. Got it. Titan has a methane sea? Does it? Polar vortex of a Titan South Pole. Methane clouds. Yeah, it's methane. That'd be hard to breathe in. We would struggle with Titan, so I'm gonna leave Titan alone. Let's just look at Callisto, and then this is probably not gonna be another one. Oh, it has a lot of volcanoes. That's what those glows are. Volcano activity. Its surface gravity is also 1/10 of ours, just like every other fucking moon. Hexagonal ice, saltwater ocean, mono ice. It's beautiful though. Callisto is pretty. It has very pretty, like, bright spots all over it, and I assume it's from volcanic activity? Well, either way, it's very pretty. Okay, so I don't think we'll be able to do anything with Callisto either. The only thing that seems to be working here is Io, and that's because it is a rock surface, it's not a frozen-ass lake, and it has materials worth taking. So I'm gonna have Io be one of the mining moons. The rest of the moons, I'm not gonna fuck with. Okay, so with this, I don't need either. Unless I can. I found something that says Callisto would actually be pretty easy to terraform. Mars is obviously the easiest. Venus is pretty hard to terraform. And like I said, that's because its gravity is heavy as shit. Oh, no, its gravity is better than Mars's. But it's 90 times as dense as Earth with the atmosphere, and it's 80 or 800 degrees Fahrenheit. That's wild. Venus is hot. So we have to be very careful when considering what to do with that thing. Its magnetosphere is also shit. One approach would be to use autonomous robots to expose Venus's underground deposits of calcium and magnesium, resulting in a chemical reaction that would store CO2 and a magnesium carbon, blah 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 blah. I'm just reading how these guys would do it. I like the idea of a floating city. I prefer the floating city idea because it'd be a lot easier to do, and we wouldn't have to sit in the garbage. And we could use floating city ships that can, like, float on the sulfuric acid that is Venus. Because we can breathe above that. And I think that'd be interesting. Also, I think for Mars, they might need to simulate heavier gravity. Just because they don't want people to start atrophying on the fucking planet. I'll figure it out. Alright, so let's close these because I don't need it. So it says here that Callisto would actually be pretty easy to terraform compared to others. Because it only receives 0.01 rems per day, which means we will not be getting hit by radiation. By Jupiter. All the other planets will fuck you up with radiation. Or the moons. All the other moons will fuck you up. But Callisto? Nah. Callisto's safe. The process of terraforming, yeah, warm it up, warm up the icy surface, let the ice melt into water, turn into oxygen and hydrogen, start becoming an atmosphere, use bacteria to convert the moon's ammonia into nitrogen, and then we can breathe. Because remember, we, for some reason, breathe almost 80% nitrogen. I was always under the impression that we were oxygen breathers, but apparently we only breathe 20% oxygen, which is wild to think about. Now, the planets we complete covered in oceans. Callisto wouldn't have its own magnetosphere. Yeah, we'd have to weigh that fucker down. We'd have to weigh ourselves down in there. The life already exists beneath. Yeah, people assume it could have life, but we don't know. If we would discover some life, blah 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 blah. And Titan, apparently we can hang out and terraform Titan. Titan's atmosphere resembles early Earth's. Transitioning to an atmosphere that resembles modern Earth would be relatively straightforward. I see. It might also have life owing to its abundance of organic chemicals. If all of its ice was melted, it would become an ocean planet. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about Titan. I'm just gonna worry about what I have written down right now. They would have to be very careful in Io, though, now. Because radiation is fuck. So I must say they have rad suits. Because I don't want my humans catching radiation. Didn't realize the radiation would be so bad. Same thing with Mercury. Mercury would also have a really bad situation of radiation because of how close it is to the sun. So they would also be wearing radiation suits there. There we go. Okay, so the solar system has now theoretically been completely, quote-unquote, colonized as far as I want it to go for the time being. I'm also going to draw my little moon right here on Earth. And then Jupiter's moon that we're on. And then I'll mark out these because we're not on these. There we go. So, now that I have that, we can start doing this. We got Earth and the moon, which is what's both colonized. We have Mars and its two moons, now completely terraformed. And we can start adding Venus. Now with Venus, I don't want it to be completely terraformed, but I do want it to be in some sort of transitionary period where they're trying to terraform it, but it's not going so well. Because Venus is, like I said, notoriously difficult to terraform. So let's go. Well, it's not too terribly hard to terraform, but it's It'd be a stupid idea. Because it is, like I said, its atmosphere is absolutely... Well, not its atmosphere. If its atmosphere could be changed, its axis is stupid. But I like the idea of them living on... Let's pull this up to make it easier. I like the idea of them living on this planet with, like, little cities floating everywhere.
Ah, why are you lumpy down here? Kira, welcome in. Thank you for the save. Let me boop.
Right, and let me make this less lumpy. No lumping. No lumpying. There we go. And since it doesn't have a moon, I can just keep it the way it is. There we go. And this is just this atmosphere. This is where everyone's going to be living. I'm contemplating if I should terraform it now. I'd say it's partially terraformed. I'm gonna say they're kind of doing it, but it's not fully terraformed yet. So they're still living in floating cities. But that's... I think that's as far as they've gotten at the moment. Okay, so this is done, this is done. I'm gonna play this music. There we go. But yeah, I hope you're doing okay, Kira. Don't mind me, I'm literally building worlds. I'm doing the world buildies. And I'm considering what planets should be terraformed and what planets should not be terraformed. Because this is 500.5 years in the future. And I want some of them to be terraformed. But not all of the planets, obviously. Okay, so Venus, partially terraformed, sky floating cities. The moon, I've already done that. Not Mercury. Mercury is not terraformed, but it is... Okay, Astroville and Io. I'm not gonna worry about those for now. So these are gonna be the 3 main planets that humans just chill on. Okay. So now I'm gonna start working on planets that exist outside of our solar system.
Thank you for the pet, Salem.
And what I'm gonna do is pull up that website I showed you guys that lets me zoom out of our solar system. Let's come on, scroll. This takes for fucking ever. Outside of the Oort cloud, which the Oort cloud is about 1 light year in a radius from the center of our sun, and then that means it's about 2, maybe 2.5 light years big. The Oort cloud's pretty big. And then the closest stars to us is Alpha Centauri and Proxima Centauri. I love hiccuping. It's my favorite. So, Proxima Centauri... It's a red dwarf. It's a baby. Also, not all of these stars are going to have planets, obviously, but some of them could have false planets or cities that are floating. That's rad. Yay, I'm glad. Here listing and lurkies while working on lore. Excellent. So I'm gonna look at Alpha Centauri and Proxima Centauri and see what they're doing here. So, what do you do, Proxima? I want to see if it has planets. It's the nearest star to the Earth after the Sun. It's only 4 light years away. It's a baby. It's also little. It's kind of hard to see because of how small it is, but it is very close to us. And it's part of the constellation Centaurus, apparently. Red dwarf star. Jesus, it's little. 12% more. 12% compared to our sun. As a baby. But do you have planets? You do have planets. It has 1 known exoplanet and 2 candidate exoplanets. Proxima B and Proxima D. Disputed Proxima Centauri C. You have planets. What a baby. Let's see. So, Proxima Centauri, is there an A? I'm assuming there's an A. Let's see if it'll show me the actual solar system. Because that would be nice. I would like to see the planet. But sadly, this program that I'm on only shows me the stars, not the planets. Also, we're still finding planets in Proxima Centauri every fucking day. Apparently, we found 2 more just a few years ago. So, there could be planets here that we haven't seen before. Because we're wild like that. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, we found Proxima Centauri D in 2020. We're wild like that. Let me go look at the different planets that are nearby us, though. Label mass. I don't need to know any of that. Because I do want maybe one of these planets to be inhabited by colony humans. I think that'd be really fun. With a joint effort of the Syrians and not of their own, you know, terraform, they probably created this planet to be inhabitable. Oh, those are very big. These are very not correct planets. Why is this so hard to find? Just show me the planets. Oh, I should probably call it planetary system. I typed solar system and it was not giving me what I wanted. I'll also be looking at Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri is probably more... Ooh. No, this doesn't work. How far away is it? I believe it said 4 light years. So that means it would just take them a week to get there. So the way I'm running my warp system, it is faster than light travel, and I want them to be able to travel a parsec in a week. Now, a parsec is kind of like the meter to the light year. It's essentially 3 light years. And they use parsecs nowadays because it's just easier to say. So 1 parsec equals 1 week, give or take. which means they would get to Sirius in about 3 weeks, give or take, depending on how often they need to stop and all that. Alpha Centauri, as well as Proxima Centauri, would take them a week and a half? Probably? Maybe? So this is the kind of fast travel that I want my people to have. They are going to be extremely fucking quick. And it probably comes from the fact that, one, humans are crackheads, and two, Syrians came by 200, 300 years ago with this warp drive technology. Now, they, at the time, could only go the speed of light. And then humans went, we have theories on how to go faster. You just showed us how to, like, not get crushed in space while going that fast. And then they started adding warp drive plus. So, yeah. They're currently at a point where they can go a parsec in a week, which is slower than a lot of Star Trek ships. I wanted to make that very clear. Star Trek ships go a little too fast for me. They fucking zip. Ugh. But with these guys, it would make sense. It's also been a lot longer than Star Trek. Star Trek took like 300, 400 years. These guys have over 550 years. And they go a fraction of the speed because, I don't know, it felt, the technology felt a little too fast for me in that show. As well as Star Wars. I've been studying, like, how sci-fi handles faster than light travel, and it bothers me that it's that fucking fast, so I've toned it down a little bit. But I also want it to feel not annoying enough to travel. I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, light years are actually light years. You're gonna take 8 years to get there. It's like, no, that's fucking lame. No one wants to play that. I don't want to DM that. So if Proxima Centauri had any livable planets you can live on, it would have to be very close to it because it is a baby dwarf. It is a little baby boy. It is, I believe, a red dwarf. I believe it's a red dwarf. It's small, but it should have a few planets. I believe it has 4. Yeah, here it is, the planetary system. Oh, it has only 3? D, B, and C. Where is A? Why did we name it this way? Y'all? B has a mass of 1.7. And I'm gonna pretend it has a gravity of 1.07, sorry, which means its gravitational pull would just be a little bit heavier than Earth. So what I'm gonna do is make Proxima B a planet you can live on. I don't know if it has any moons. If it doesn't, it might have maybe an artificial moon. It's 1.3 parsecs from Earth, which means it would take, yeah, like about a week and a day or 2 to get there. So people would be able to drop in on that planet. It would be like moving across this like country in the US, obviously. Flare star, yes, I know how it works. Could strip an atmosphere off the planet, but if we protect the planet with a certain type of atmospheric property to make sure it doesn't lose its shit. Oh my god, Proxima is fucking huge. I thought it was little. Proxima Centauri B's parent star, Proxima Centauri, is a red dwarf, radiating only... But why is it so big in this? It's so little, according to this. It receives 70% of its infrared energy. Yeah, I think I'll make Proxima Centauri a terraformed planet. Let's do that. So I'm going to grab my list. And I'm going to start marking down planets that are outside of our solar system. These are the planets that we've done and inhabited throughout our hundreds of years. And now I'm going to make Proxima Centauri a colony planet. So Proxima Centauri is the star. The planet would be Proxima b. I'm thinking. Because I have aliens called Proxians, and I named it after Proxus, which is what the name of the star is, and it would have been Proxus A, Proxus B, Proxus C as the 3 planets. Proxus B is where they're from. Weirdly enough, Proxima Centauri B is the planet that we could live on. I find that really interesting. Obviously, they're not going to call it Proxima Centauri B at all times. They're going to name it something else. But this is just what it's currently called. Do I want to make this planet their planet? Because the planet itself does have some sort of vegetation and, like, prettiness to it on the outside, but the vast majority of its ecosystem is on the inside of the planet. Do I want to? I'm so tempted. I'm so tempted to make Proxima B where they're from. Because they're called Proxians. It would work. It would work so well. You know what? Fuck you. I'm doing it. Proxian home planet. And we didn't record that shit until we got better technology later. Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it that way. I don't think D or C does anything. I don't think they're good for us. Let's see. Proxima is a sub-Earth. What's its mass? It is so small compared to Earth. At least mass-wise, which means its gravity might be kind of shit. Its temperature is also 188 Fahrenheit. Genghis Krengus. Oh my god, and C is negative 389 Fahrenheit. These bitches, that bitch cold. So, we are not going to land on those. Because that is wild. So yeah, B is the only one that seems to be good. So let's do that. Let's drop in Proxima B next. I don't know if it has any moons, but I'll say it has one, and it's kind of small. Let's all agree to that. I'm gonna shrink this. I'm gonna move it a little bit so it's not like completely equal to these, just to make it look a little nice. And let's go find some terraformed stock images, and I'm going to use that as a template for my Proxima B planet. And this is going to be for my cave cats, my little babies. Oh wow, it is about as big as Earth. That's pretty cool. That makes me happy. It's very rocky as well. I kind of like the idea that maybe it has some sort of vegetation. Ooh. We have a really clear image of it. That's good. I'm going to boot that up. That's not a very clear image. Okay. So yeah, it's very rocky, doesn't have a whole lot of vegetation on top from what I want it to be. It's an exoplanet, which means it's a little big. I think that's what that means. Okay, so I can close these out. I don't need these.
Where are all the...
No, shush. I'm supposed to be looking at your pictures. Oh, this doesn't help me. That sucks. Okay, let me go back. And stare at the moon. I'm trying to look at the picture, not the video. Okay, there we go. So this is apparently what it looks like. It's very pretty. And I'm going to copy this, and we are going to plonk it in here. I'm going to make sure it's a little bigger than the Earth model that I have here. And I'm going to color it in. I'm going to draw it. And I will give it a moon. I don't know if it has a moon, but for the sake of this specific thing, I think I will. I don't care if the white lines are a little bumpy. Don't bug me none. Okay, and now I'm going to color pick here. This blue is a very deep blue. Okay, so here's gonna be the water. Let's turn this off real quick. Let's get some green in there. Let's try this kind of green.
Oh, hiccup.
Oh, whoops. Oh, that is terrible. I lied. I don't like that. That looks kind of nice, actually. I might do something like this. It is very pretty, but it's also kind of green. And it's got blue. It's got very pretty blue. Nah, it's a little too blue. Not blue enough. Okay, and now let's greenify, maybe even yellowify slightly, the planet. Oh, let's make that a lot darker. don't know how I feel about that. Looks so dumb. Let's try that again. Ad starts in a minute, and I'm sorry. But if we don't have ads, it'll become really stupid.
Thank you for the sip, Salem.
I am thirsty. Oh. Water yummy. I like how it just cuts off, and then I'm like, hi. Hey, how's it going? Hi, how are you? I'm gonna go through this and make sure it all looks fine. How? Yeah, because this is what it currently looks like. This is the planet on the inside. So let me try this again.
Oh, hello, ads.
Hmm. We'll see what happens if I do this. See what it looks like. Now let's turn that off and look at it from here. Eh. That's the case. Let's make this a normal. Let's make this the color adder. Ah! I am dropping my stuff.
Thank you for the fan. Hi, Boo Boo.
Oh! Color. This works pretty well. Huh? Why are you acting that way? Weird. Hold on, I need to test something. What the hell? Why is it doing that? It's cutting off right here, and I can't tell why. It's because of these? Oh, it is, because I'm stupid. That's why. Makes sense. Okay, so I fixed the situation. Although it still looks a little funky. I wish it didn't do that. Let me try that again. I do still have this. I don't know why it insists on having the black erase the way I don't want it to. It upsets me greatly. Let me do this to make it easier to see what I'm coloring. This actually makes erasing little baby lines very, very easy. Actually, before I start doing this, let me make this bigger, because I want it to be big. I want this boy big. Big Proxima. There we go. Oh! I cleaned up real good. Hold on, that cleaned out really, really nice. Why did that clean up really good? What do you mean? Yeah, whatever. Who cares? It fucking works. Okay, and as far as its moons go, I have no fucking clue if it has moons. I just know I'm calling this one Proxima B. And it can be called something else later. Now, I do have a few hypothetical planets pulled up by people who have made their own, and I am very bad at generating my own map. I don't know why. I've tried. I suck at it. But I can show you what this person made. Oh, it's probably because it looks like a 3D model. It's probably because they're treating it like a 3D model and giving it fucking roughness maps and shit. That would do it. What kind of planet is this? That is interesting. It's very small. Okay, so let's go look at the next bit of stars. That's right, there's also Alpha Centauri. So let's go see it. Alpha Centauri, do you have planets? It has... Oh, wait. Alpha Centauri as a whole has 2 confirmed planets, both of them around Proxima. Oh my god, this planet has 2 suns. I didn't realize they were homies. They hang out together. Got it, got it. Okay, so I'm just gonna put them together. I should have realized that when I was looking at the map. They are homies. So not all of these stars that I'm looking at are going to have planets. Sirius is going to. So Sirius... I know they have planets, and I also know, I believe Sirius is... I think it might have more than 1 star as well. but I'm gonna go check. It does. It has Sirius A, B, and something called Sirius C, which could be a tiny baby dwarf star, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I forgot our Sirius A and Sirius B are hanging out together. Sirius B, I believe, goes around Sirius A. So it's a sun going around another sun. That's really cool. Let's go stare at them. So, Sirius, stellar system. It has B going around it. A is right here. What about its planets? I know it has a few planets. And even if it doesn't IRL, I'm gonna be giving it planets. Also, Sirius A is bigger than the sun. There's Boyeg. Sirius B is the size of Earth almost. It's a tiny little star. The baby. It's a boy star. Parent third star. Yeah, Sirius C. They have a possible third star. And it's a brown dwarf. It's a even babier star. That is nuts. So if that's the case, I am going to have a planet there. I would like a couple of planets there. Only one is habitable, though. That is wild. I forgot that happened. Oh, well. I didn't know. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's our North Star. It's also big as fuck.
But does it have planets? Do you have planets?
It has possibly one planet called Xylanthia. Possibly. If that is the case, I'm going to do that. I'm gonna give it its own fun little planet. And, yeah, this is where the Syrians come from. These are these guys. These are the dudes from this weird trinary star system. But like I said, one of the planets are actually... One of the stars are actually very small. Small as our planet, which is fucking wild. But it says there might be planets within Sirius B and not going around Sirius A. Which I find fucking weird. Because Sirius A seems to be the one, like, twirling everything around. Yep, get out of here. Get out of here. I want to read this. There we go. I was being fucking grappled in by the neck by the fucking cookie confirm prompt on this website. And I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm doing what I want. Yeah, Xylanthia. What is that? Yeah, Sirius is wild. So, what is Xylanthia? Let me look that up. I spelled it wrong. Xylanthia. The planet is located in the Sirius star system, which is comprised of 3 stars. Orbit, yeah. Orbits, blah, blah, blah. Home planet, It is supposedly the home planet of extraterrestrials that visited Earth and founded Atlantis. Yes, thank you. That is what I... No. That is not my lore. You get out of here. I have Atlantean lore, and that's not it. Get out of here. So I'm... fuck it, I'll call it Xylanthia. It sounds nice. I want it to be kind of watery. Like, really pretty and watery. I don't know what to name it here, though. I guess I could mark it that it's from Sirius. Because I don't want to forget it, because I will forget. Also, apparently, some people believe mer people live on Sirius B, the planet, even though we don't know if Sirius B even has a planet. Oh, cool. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, this is all esoteric stuff that I did not want to look at. See, that's the thing with this stuff. Once you start really looking into, like, certain stars and stuff, you will actively start falling into a pit of this, like, oh, there's alien mermaids on this planet. It's like, no, I'm looking for, like, actual scientific understanding of what fucking planets exist there. Please. Anyway. I don't have a good picture of any planets that could possibly exist there, so what I'm gonna do is look for stock planets and try and draw my own. Now, I am very bad, as you've seen, at drawing my own, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best, and I want it to be kind of watery. I want it to be a very watery looking planet. With like an islandy water planet, if that makes sense. I think that'd be very pretty. I want it to have more earth colors, I think. That deep blue. Oh, that is pretty. Hiccup. Can I not die, please? I don't know if it has moons. Maybe I'll give it like 3 little moons. I think that'd be fun. So I'm going to take this, make it little. I'm gonna copy it and make it even more little. Little moon. And then I'll give it a 3rd tiny moon. I'll make it maybe farther away. And that's a little too far. Alright, so these all... I'm gonna turn off this. It's not letting me. What the fuck? Rude. I'm turning this off just a bit so that I can recombine them. Because if I do it now, it'll do something stupid. And it makes me very mad. Okay, let's combine these. And give it the border effect. So if I would have combined them, it would have considered the border effect its, like, part of the thing, and it would have collapsed, and I wouldn't have been able to edit it without also editing the border. It would have been very frustrating, so I had to go around that. Alright, so Sirius. Let's start picking out some really pretty colors. So I'm gonna be using this picture that I have pulled up of a theoretical planet, and I'm gonna start using its colors. Oh, and that's why you need to clip your layer. There we go. So I'm going to give it this really pretty starting blue. I'm also going to outline that just a bit, make it look a little nicer, and I'm going to do my absolute best to make this planet look like a planet. I want it to look like these. That's going to be very hard to do, but I'm going to try my best. And I'm going to do it by studying both the planets that I already have, as well as any planets that I come into contact with on the internet. because people make a lot of really pretty planet concepts. There's currently one I'm looking at that I'm taking colors from. So this is going to be the main water. I added this little glow to it because I wanted it to give this like impression that it's got this glowing atmosphere going on. It's very pretty. Okay, so I'm not going to probably give these things their own full maps, kind of like how we have a full map of Earth, a full map of Mars. We even have a full map of Venus and our moon. That's how we get Google Earth to do its thing. However, I'm not going to be doing that with these. There's no point. Literally no point. I don't want my players to feel like they have to explore the entire planet. That's stupid. There are certain planets that will only have little zones of major cities if it's a colonized planet, and if it's a crazy ass, you know, wild planet that we've never done anything on, it's only going to have certain zones that you can walk through without like absolutely tripping balls. And by tripping balls I mean like falling over and hurting yourself. There's only going to be designated areas that they can walk in safely. This planet looks dumb, so I'm gonna close this one out. Goodbye, tab! Oh, that's how they get it to look, I think. I've been staring at a bunch of rendered planets. It's like it was made in Blender and stuff, and I realized they added a sun flare to the planet. It's like you can see the sun reflecting in the water of the planet. It's very interesting. I'm probably not going to do that, at least too crazy, because I don't want to distract from whatever else I'm drawing, but good to note if I want to make it look a little more realistic. I could do a very slight sheen in the water. Especially since all these pictures that I'm drawing, I want the sun to be considered behind the quote-unquote camera or the POV. That way we can see the full surface without me having to worry about shading it too much. Because if I shade it too much, we will start losing details. And I don't want to do that. That would suck. I also need to start drawing the moon. I kind of want one of the moons to be really pretty and green. Like a very, very green, like this green. The rest will probably be rocky. Like that. But I want one to be green. Really, really pretty. Speaking of green, I do need to start adding the... what's it called? The land. There's not going to be a whole lot of land, but just enough. Let me pick from here. God, these colors are so dull. Okay. And like I said, oh! I'm drawing on the... What the fuck? I'm drawing on the line! I didn't mean to. I'm apparently drawing on the line, like this. See, look at that. Well, that's upsetting. That's upsetting my spaghetti. I'll figure out how to fix that later. For now, I'm just gonna draw the actual planet. Okay, so this is gonna be the main continent. But everything else is going to just be little islands, I think. Because it's a very island-heavy planet. It's got nothing but water for the most part. Obviously, there's going to be snowballs down here and snowballs up here. I'll do that here. Well, I'll do it in the white form of the coloring. So, I'll do that. And then I'll color it white whenever I'm shading this thing. So that's going to be my ice tips right here and here. And then let's just keep adding islands. I want this land to look like it's been torn the fuck up. Also, they may have a fuck ton of water and rivers and lakes in this part of the map, where it's so big you can kind of like see the difference. Like this. Yeah. Alright, let's give it a couple more islands. Here and there. I'm thinking this side of the planet can just be fucking water. Nothing but water. And it'll probably just be a few more islands on the other side. But nothing too crazy. Okay. That looks nice. It's starting to actually come together a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is... Let me... Nope. Yes. Let me grab... this white and my dirt texture and just start going to town on this. So this is going to be the snow area. Same here. Let's get my dirt texture in there. Remember, I took this texture from my, I took it from my paint tool Sai. And I'm gonna add in maybe some dark grays in here with another brush. Just so it doesn't look as monotonous. There we go. As far as this is concerned, I'm just gonna add various browns and grays to it, I believe. With my dirt. Just to give it some texture. Should I also give it a border effect? I kinda don't want to. Doesn't look all that good. Medic! What am I putting on me? A me! Okay. I will grab a Medinko. Oh. Give it a second. Alright. Medinko. Grab. Let me get you right. You know what? You get the throne of knowledge. You get my noggin. You get to sit right there, right on my head. Also, I'm drawing planets. I hope you're proud of me. Right now I'm trying to get in these textures here. Oh no! Ow, my leg is bent weird. Ow, Desmond turned into space. No! Don't throw me into space, I'm just a little guy. You can't do it to me. I'll cry about it. Y'all, I'll cry. Are you trying to make me cry? That's so mean. I burped and it was gross and I'm so sorry. Also, I'm going to come in here and add a bit of texture to the water just to have it. And I'm going to do the same thing to this. I'm going to come in and just give it some texture just to have. Oh, that texture did not come through. And now I need to add clouds. Clouds seem to make it, like, make or break this fucking thing. Y'all are gonna hear some jammy-ass music, by the way. I'm actually gonna turn it up a little. Okay, so now that that's all said and done, let me come in here and pluck up a few more colors so that I can color in this thing. And I'm going to use my dirt just to add a bit of texture to certain parts, like so. Then I'll come in with the rough paper. I'll do the same thing here, but with a deep green. Because these guys are green, 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 green. Also, because the way the planet works, the way the layers work specifically. Nope. I'm gonna do this. And I'm going to bring this shrunted. Shrink by 3. Oh, that does not work the way I thought it did. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I see what I'm doing. Okay, so delete outside.
Yeah! I cleaned it up.
Yeah, French. Alright, so now that that is over and done, I think I'm gonna add clouds. Because clouds seems to be the thing that, like, really adds to the planet. So let me go look at some cloud coverage. Very nice planet. Thank you! I'm glad it looks nice. I'm trying my best. I'm trying to make it look like these. These are actual rendered planets that people made. This is an actual photo of Earth, so this is not rendered. Well, it's technically rendered. You know what I mean. These are possibly... This is Mars if it was terraformed, and it was made in a 3D program. So it has, like, masking, layering, light sources. That's why you see a shine of light right here. It's a nice looking planet, but I don't have NASA technology to render planets like that, so I'm just gonna have to draw it. And it seems like clouds seem to be the way to go here, because all of these I grabbed from science and NASA websites because I wanted to. There has to be a way to do this. Hold on. Let me do some expanding of my own. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, I have to flip it. And now grab this. Delete outside. Okay, so I have these. Now what I'm doing, you'll see in a moment here. I need to lighten it up just a bit. Oh wait, I want to erase it from here. Oh no, wait, I don't have to erase it from here. I can... do this, and then I want to blur this thing. I think Gaussian is what I want. It's not blurring. Hello? I want you to blur. Oh, because it's locked. That'll do it. Alright, so Gaussian blur. Excellent. Now what I'm gonna do is start testing these colors. Like that. Have it stand out just a bit. And I'm gonna go in here and erase some of this. There we go. And now I can turn this completely white. Right here. So now that I have this like little glow going on the continents, I'm gonna add clouds. And clouds are not completely white. They are in a swirl, so I'm going to start just twirling this around. Gonna start adding just like kind of like fog at first to make sure it looks pretty good, and then I'll add streakier clouds. Like this. I'm also going to just start adding in the dirt as well here, I think. It would give it a very good cloud-like texture. What other? I do have ripples, but that's not for clouds. I could also add freckles. But that looks a little too harsh. So does that. Contemplation. Oh, wait. What am I doing? I have a cloud brush. Am I dumb? I think I'm a little dumb. I have an actual cloud brush. Although it doesn't look so good this way. That does not look like actual clouds. It's good for when I'm coloring it like on a close-up, but for this, no. Well, I tried and I failed. Alright, let's try hard shading. Let's see how that feels. Same thing as regular. Gotcha. I'll at least try to simulate some sort of flow here. And then I can blur it later. It's just there's like tiny little baby pieces that I have to consider. And also, like, swirls, too. Because our clouds do all sorts of crazy shit. That's how we get, like, cyclones and shit. Which means this place is fucked right now. Whoops. Maybe I could sharpen it a little bit. Let me find clouds. None of these do what I want. All these clouds kind of suck. So I'm gonna close them out. I need them. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is just keep on working on these clouds and cry. I mean, enjoy what they look like. See, I wish I could just use this, but I can't. Oh, wait! I could maybe use this. This is a sand cloud, but it's still a cloud. Friction. That looks really good, too. Let's use this to help. Oh, yeah, look at those clouds. See, all you have to do is just fuck with a brush until you find one you like. Now, I am still gonna go in and use other brushes that I really like, but this one is working pretty well for the moment. I'm gonna have this just completely covered right now. Like, this is just bundled up.
I see, Mom.
What's this? Nothing I want. So, friction's a good thing for it. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that. I can actually delete this. I don't need it. That's how to blend. I think I'll blend in some of the clouds, like this. Get them a little less gumbly. Like here. Because some of these look really funky. Without me wanting them to. And I'll come back in with rough paper. Because rough paper is just a good texture. And I want this to simulate the, like, what is it called? Where the clouds are all, like, funky and, like, bundled up with each other. I really like that. I'm also gonna make the lighting for the clouds a little higher. Okay, this is probably the best I'm gonna get. I am gonna have streaky streaks of clouds right here. Maybe they're starting to bundle up real bad here. There we go. Okay, so I've added clouds. That looks pretty good. It looks kind of like a planet to me. Kind of. So next, we're going to work on the moons. I'm just going to go stare at moons. So moons, I will do the same thing. I will give it this deepness to it in the center. And then I'm gonna use dirt to add in textures. So for instance, craters here and there. Let's say this one has a particularly big crater right here. I'll reinforce that with paper. Or actually, I'll just cover the whole thing with paper. Give it that texture. And I can also use friction. And just give it its little craters. There it is. I was gonna use this brush instead. I'm thinking I could just make little dots and then circle them to give it like this crater design. Alright, so let's completely cover it up a little bit here, because some moons just are starting to fall apart. That's just what they do. But I'm also going to add pretty little... I'll do it with a texture. That looks silly. I'm going to add pretty little things like this. Because moons will also have these like weird little streaks going on sometimes. Like our moon, for instance, it's a crater, I believe, called Tycho, has these streaks coming off it like this. And we don't know why, but it's really pretty. So I'm gonna emulate that. It's also got lines crossing it like so. And once again, we don't know why, but it's really pretty. And I want to emulate that. So this is gonna be the first moon, a very pretty green moon. Let me give it this, like, rippling effect. Excellent. Okay, so there's one of its moons. Looks like a moon. And for this, I could probably just grab a moon or two here and there. And just call it a day. Let's encircle 10 moons. There we go. Very pretty. I'll have this one just have little random white dots here and there, because for some reason moons have these like really white active spaces, and I have no clue why. It's just really pretty distortions of the rock. So I'm just going to add distortions to the rocks, like so. And of course, like I said, we're going to give them like these really bright little dots. Because for some reason, some of them have that. And some people think, well, I guess it depends on the moon, but I know for, like, Callisto, for instance, it is volcanic activity. So maybe these guys have a really volcanically active moon. Which is why it's going to have these really bright little glows in some spots. Okay, that's a cute little boon. And I'll do one more. I want this one to just be really lumpy. So let's add the rough paper. Let's make it a little darker as well. Maybe I'll push it close to a red color, like a really pretty ochre. That's a pretty ochre. That's a pretty color. And I'll use sand clouds to create a couple of craters here and there. But I want this one to just be kind of young. I don't want it to have anything too crazy going on about it. I'll give it some cute little white spots. Actually, let me make them brighter than that. Okay. I made it! I made a planet and 3 little moons! Yay! So this is going to be Sirius. Or one of the planets in Sirius that is actually used. Okay, so those are the clouds. That's this. This is the actual planet. So I'm gonna plop it in its own folder just in case I ever need to edit this stuff. And I'm gonna call it Xylanthia, I think it's called. That's the supposed planet. If you look it up, you're just gonna find like pseudoscience. But it is what I'm gonna call it. Because, I mean, we already have it, so why not? There we go. Alright, so with that, I think I'm gonna call it. I successfully made my own pretty planet. It looks pretty close to Earth. See how Earth looks. I'm still kind of shit at doing clouds, but that's fine. Clouds are a little difficult to deal with. So this is Earth and its moon. This is Mars and its moons. I didn't make these. These are rendered by people from NASA. So these are stock images. This is another concept from NASA for Proxima b. And then I finally have Xylanthia, or Sirius B. And I actually put all of this down with a pen. And I think that's pretty cool. Especially considering this is a real planet and this is made in a 3D program. I believe this is also a 3D render. They're like concepts. So it's pretty close. If I ever need to go back in and clean it up, like maybe the clouds or something, I will. But right now, I'm not going to worry about it. For now, I did it. I finished it. It is made. And we're going to go head on out. I will be working on more of these off stream because you guys don't need to see me make the process of making like all of my planets. That'd be kind of funny. But I now know that I can do it. I can make my own planets. And I figured out the brushes that make it the best. So, yay! I can start making planets for people to land on in my TTRPG. But thank you guys so much for vibing. We literally built worlds today. And I think that's pretty fun. I just popped my ankle and it felt really good. Alrighty, let's head on out. I know who I'm raiding. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-da-da. Let's head out. Oof. No, no, no. Okay, I thought I broke stuff. Horse. Hi, Mimi. Wait, good morning. Good morning, Ann. Alright, grab your messages. We're gonna go drop in on Doggo. The first one is if you have my emotes. The second is if you do not. And I will see you guys later. Cecil mushes into my skeleton. He really does. Look at him. He's right in on you.
He's a cuddle bug.
But yeah, I'll see you guys later. The cafe is closing. Oof. Oh, stretchy, stretchy, stretchy. Ugh. That's SpongeBob bikini. Himiko's wearing a SpongeBob bikini.